Today, COVID-19 has disrupted our lives. We're meeting virtually as opposed to face, which would have been our hope today. This disruption has necessitated a shift in how we work, how we live, and indeed how we socialize. Many have lost their jobs or are faced with reduced incomes. But today I would like to encourage us all to focus on the opportunities during the crisis and to use the time to reimagine our society as well as our future. The digital ecosystem is one of the areas that is thriving and continues to offer many solutions that help mitigate the disruptions to our livelihoods and the economy that this pandemic has caused. Furthermore, my government has instituted programs, for example, such as Kazi Mtaani, which to date has engaged over 300,000 young Kenyans across the country in community and infrastructure projects. And this is not just helping young Kenyans earn a dignified wage, but also transforming the way we implement infrastructure projects. And we're learning a lot through this program, and hopefully this new way of doing infrastructure or major infrastructure projects will become institutionalized in our country. So even as we build our roads, even as we put up our electricity poles, even as we do our housing, we take into cognizance the fact that we need to include our young people in these developments. Young people today, across the world, not just here in Kenya, are indeed change makers. They have become outstanding advocates for change in societies on issues of human rights, technology, climate change, education, and many more. We all know of the story of Malala, the Pakistani activist for female education, who is the youngest Nobel Prize laureate, as well as Greta Thunberg, the Swedish environmental activist, who has stood up to global leaders to make the case known that the future belongs to the young people. I also wish to salute the many young Kenyan changemakers we today are inspired by the 15 medical and engineering students of Kenyatta University, who recently made history by making the country's first homegrown ventilator to help treat COVID-19 patients. I recognize the activists in Nandora fighting for disability rights, the human rights advocate in Eldoret defending the fundamental freedoms of access to universal health care, and the young innovators across the country who have heeded the call of Buy Kenya and Build Kenya and are manufacturing hospital beds and personal protective gear across the country. These and many such young people are truly the generation that is unlimited by COVID-19 or any similar challenge. I believe it is also worth underscoring that we have invested heavily in preparing Kenyans for a digital economy. And we have made great strides in harnessing and adapting digital technologies for the benefit of our people. We are close today to 100% universal mobile phone coverage, while 74% of Kenyans today are connected to the electricity grid. The Ajira digital program, which we have heard about, is helping technologically savvy Kenyans to take full advantage of the extensive technology platforms to create and connect to jobs, obtain accurate and relevant as well as timely labor market information, as well as to build a virtual support and mentorship ecosystem. Since its inception in 2017, more than 50,000 young Kenyans have been trained and mentored through the Ajira program on how to access work from digital platforms, and close to 700,000 Kenyans now source work from digital platforms. We have further put in place mechanisms to support the survival, growth, and productivity of micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises. For example, programs such as STAWI are providing financial support to MSMEs that previously had been locked out of the formal banking sector. towards the end of the month of August, another few weeks' time, we intend to also launch another product, again aimed at this same sector and to ensure that capital is more readily available to our young people. And this to support their enterprises. We have also, as a government, instituted a 30% government procurement opportunity, and these have been set aside for enterprises that are owned by our young people, by our women and persons with disability. Ajira program is aimed at training our young people to be able to get access to digital work. And in this instance, we want to encourage people like yourselves who are trainers of trainers to use that platform to be able to work with, for example, our Ajira trainers, for you to be able to acquire those skills and to be able to pass on those skills to the other young men and women who who you are currently engaged with and training, to show them how online work can be made available. Secondly, we have the innovation hubs that we are developing virtually in every constituency. These innovation hubs are supposed to be a center where people can have access, our young people, to free internet, to computers, to be able not only to learn, but also to become start-offs, where you can go and start your business, where you can have the basic infrastructure to incubate your business. And these innovation hubs we want to do across all our 290 constituencies, so that every constituency has a facility like that for it to be able to become the center of digital learning, but also the ability to incubate small businesses that are technologically related. So that is another program that we're also pushing forward. Generation Unlimited is an initiative who I believe time has come. GenU, I believe, rightly recognizes that the youth agenda is the defining agenda of our time. Because today, the largest generation is that of young people. It is the largest not only in Kenya, but it is the largest in the world. And it is the largest that the world has ever known. Indeed, 1 in every 3 people is under the age of 30. And about 90% of all these young people live in the developing countries, and that is mainly in Asia and Africa. And approximately 3/4 of our own population is under the age of 35. This huge youth population has limitless possibilities to transform our societies and indeed to transform our world. But this is only if the right investments are made to prepare our youth for tomorrow's world. The genuine goal is to ensure that every person between the ages of 10 and 24 is either in school, in training, or in employment. And all this by the year 2030. This objective resonates very strongly with us because it speaks to an issue that is at the center of my administration. As I've said before, our youth are our nation's greatest resource. And I recognize from the very beginning of my own administration that this generation of young people has the potential to expand Kenya and Africa's productive workforce and turn our continent into a frontier of growth, innovation, and opportunities. And therefore, my administration will continue to prioritize investments in our young people. These investments, I believe, are already yielding some results. And we can confidently say that Kenya has made good progress to achieving the objectives of Generation U. To build strong foundations for competitiveness and productivity and to provide 21st century employable skills, The education sector in Kenya continues to receive the lion's share of our national budget. Currently, over 25% of our national cake is earmarked for education. And this is the largest single budgetary item that we have. I'm pleased to note that Kenya's education is recognized as one of the best on the African continent. Today, all children have access to free primary education, and transition to secondary education is now at 100%. Further, we have undertaken major reforms in the education sector, including, as was mentioned by the CAS earlier, making technical and vocational education and training more relevant and better aligned to the needs of our economy, and also making it more affordable for our people. The quality of education in our country is comparatively higher than that of peer countries. On globally harmonized test scores, Kenya's score is around 435. This is higher than many upper middle income countries, which scored 430. This gives us confidence that Kenya's labor force will be competitive on the global market. As many of you know, we have begun the implementation of a competency-based curriculum, and this will further enhance the quality, but also the relevance of our educational system.